when love fails. The sunset rolls up its magic red carpet, and the imagination falls off the sunlit cliff onto the broken rocks of night.
When love fails, all that is beautiful dies with it.
When love fails, the hands of greed clear-cut all the living sweetness of this earth and stomp it into money.
When love fails, time burns the departure schedules in the train station of linear certainty.
When love fails, the moon casts off its harness to the swell of the ocean, and the flaccid waters flatten.
When love fails, poison is the nectar, drunk on drunk.
When love fails, the night casts off its velvet cloak and crawls into the belly with the sharpened claws of nightmare.
When love fails, I'm plucked from the earth and thrown into an abyss. Only the crows call to me as my mind is black and my heart they devour.
When love fails, the fingers of the wind that curry the fur of the forest curl up and clench into a frozen fist.
When love fails, the empty barn whispers with the vagrant winds, and the door bangs softly into the silence.
When love fails, the pregnant rain clouds keep their round bellies zipped up against the withering thirst of the writhing wheat.
When love fails, I lose my definition and assume a face in an assembly line.
When love fails, our tenderest moments become whips in the hands of the cosmic dominatrix, and our sweetest words are burnt into the skin.
When love fails, the rear view mirror casts our burnt bones into the tea leaves of the future.
When love fails, the bony hand reaching forward grips the fleshy hand reaching back and locks it into a relentless, eternal rictor.
When love fails, I spiral with the falling leaf, plunging inevitably unto death.
Into death, unto death. Death is the anonymous stranger who stands at every crossroad giving directions to lost travelers. Death is a pebble tossed in a pond, the circles spread. It is a string tied to the sky. It is a smile behind the smile. It is a naked singularity at absolute zero, minus 1 degree. It is a flickering street lamp over a deserted street. It is the cold fusion of time and eternity. Death's business. Death buys high, sells low, but always makes a profit. Death addresses the boardroom. Ladies and gentlemen, my message to you is cost efficiency at all costs. Death sings the sweatshop song. Each brad, each staple, each stitch, every bolt and nail and switch is a tiny step upon the trail of tears. A lamentation that is music to my ears. Death collects the fares on the ferry over the river Styx. Death whispers in the ears of the rich. More! More! You could be happy if you just had more! Death talks to an investor. Life is such a precarious, fragile thing. Invest with me and your returns are guarantee. Death can count backward from 7 billion. Death asks you, what is 7 billion minus 1? What is 1 minus 7 billion? What is 1 times 0? What is 7 billion times 0? Death speaks. Death speaks softly, but carries a big. Death speaks every language, plus 1. Sings a song only buzzards can hear. Chants his ohms backward. Sings inside a slippery glissando. Sings his songs inside the silence of love songs. Death's double entendres never have 2 meanings. Hello, this is Death. Leave your message and I will return your call. I will always return your call. When the 3 magi arrived at the manger, a lone figure was already standing by the door. I always get the first look, Death said. Death has. Death has the key to the back door of twilight. Death has a bullwhip made of strips of the finest moonless midnight woven in Los Alamos by hands expert at the distillations of darkness. Death has a compass without a hand, an hourglass without any sand, a farm without any land, and an army without a man. Death has a tunnel he dug through the air to connect the cities of here and there. Old woman in the park. A little before 3, the pigeons, along with a few sparrows, began to gather anxiously at her bench. You could tell that she had always been right on time. Meetings, appointments, she was always there. Promptly at 3, she arrives at her bench with her big bag of breadcrumbs. The birds roil about in this brief abundance and squabble over every piece. When her death comes, promptly at the appointed hour, will the birds then, as they do now, suddenly explode up in one great flock, swirl once around the park, then fly away, disappearing into the luminous afternoon light? Death gently rocks the cradle. Hello, little one. I am your companion, and I will always be with you. One day you will reach out, and I will be there, as familiar and unknowable as your father's voice. the tent.